Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the AZ Wildcats podcast. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, we've got a lot to get to this show. All right, now let's talk about, first and foremost, hello, Jason Shear. How are you doing?
Splendid, Michael. How are you?
All right, not too bad, Shear, not too bad. All right, now we got a lot to get to this show. We're going to talk some Arizona basketball, obviously. We're going to talk a little bit of the women's, men's game. We're going to talk All-American teams. But first and foremost, Shear, this was what a senior day, what a weekend, just everything across the board. This was everything you wanted as an Arizona fan was awesome. And this was a special group of seniors here that I think we really need to properly praise.
It was really fun. It was just a fun day. Arizona came out to play. They were hot from the field. Everyone was having fun. Everyone got involved. You know, one of the first plays of the game is Grant Whiteman getting a steal. I mean, you couldn't have written it any better. And like you mentioned, it was a very nice send-off for guys that probably mean more to the program than people realize right now.
And all four of them have done this the right way. They've come from different aspects of, obviously, Caleb Love, Keshad Johnson here 1 year, Oumar Ballo, Pelle Larsson, the way they've contributed. But they've all done it, and they've all been equally important in their own way.
Yeah, I mean, in all, like, really good kids, right? Like, and it's like, you know, Caleb Love came with all the preconceived notions and all that, and even I was part of that, and then proved it wrong very, very quickly. Oumar Ballo was a guy that people had given up on, and Tommy Lloyd brought him here, and now he's one of the best players in the country. Keshad Johnson has been awesome. Pelle Larsson has grown as a player. It's just all of them are good individual stories.
Yes, all of them are awesome individual stories. And not only are they all awesome individual stories, they're also kind of the players where you know, you just see them naturally progress. And, you know, let's just talk about it a little bit. You know, let's talk about, I guess, work backwards. Oumar Ballo, we've talked about this a great deal. Oumar Ballo is not going to be an All-American, but he should be an honorable mention All-American. And when he came in here, I thought he was going to be, honestly, a Gene Edgerson type, where you wear your bike knee pads, you go flying around on the court a little bit, this, that, and the other. He's been an absolute difference maker, and he's been awesome, Shear. I don't know what else to say.
This is a guy that played 6 minutes a game and averaged 2 points as a freshman at Gonzaga. Tommy Lloyd brings him over. People are like, yeah, why not? We'll give it a shot. Freshman year averages 6 points a game. You're like, okay, maybe he's just not very good. And then the last 2 years, he's averaging 14 points and 10 rebounds a game, basically.
Yeah.
It's the progress he has made as a player is about as good as it gets at the college level. It should be more of a national story of how you go from a guy that, I mean, he said it on senior day. He said people gave up on him, and the only guy that believed in him was Tommy Lloyd, and we're seeing why this year.
And I don't think that Tommy Lloyd would mind us talking about this, but we were talking about with Tommy Lloyd one time at a basketball tournament off the record. This is when Shear made his terrible Cody Williams observations. But, you know, Tommy Lloyd said, and again, I don't think that he would mind saying, Oumar's a really good kid. And, you know, obviously he's dealt with a lot. We're never going to turn our back on him. I just thought that was a really, really cool thing from Tommy Lloyd. And I think it's really kind of a pure-hearted moment from a good guy and a good player.
Yeah, Tommy's an interesting dude when it comes to that, because I've asked him before, even in a presser, I've said, when do you know if a guy has it or not? Like, how fast does it take you to realize a guy's good enough? And he goes, it doesn't matter, because we don't give up on guys. So whether that happens freshman year or junior year, we're confident that for every guy we recruit, it's going to happen. And you're not going to be perfect, but, you know, with everything that Oumar's been through in his life, it was very apparent as soon as he came to Arizona that, you know, Tommy Lloyd wasn't giving up on him. Like you mentioned, right. Like, we're not turning our back on Oumar. We're confident in him. He's going to be good. And, you know, Tommy was right.
Tommy was right. So again, we got to give him, and the player development under Tommy is, I mean, let's be honest here. The player development under Tommy is absolutely fantastic. Now, again, this team's got to show itself come March, obviously. I mean, well, we're in March, and we've said this before, but, you know, he's going to be measured by March. But, I mean, just look at it. And again, Sean Miller, I got to give Sean Miller a real tip of the cap because the way that he left a full roster, but Tommy Lloyd figured out really quickly how to use Dalen Terry or, maybe develop a Ben Matherin in a way that I'm just not sure that, the Sean really would have been able to. But then you just look at it as well, just the maturation of some of these guys, starting with Oumar Ballo. Again, Oumar Ballo came in and he's still going to have some limitations, but his progression from year to year to year has been fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, player development is a thing under Tommy, and you haven't had a transfer. Maybe you have. I'd have to think about it. That has come over here and been worse off, which happens. It happens. If you look around nationally, there's absolutely guys. I was looking at the Brown player, Peyton Wojcik, who transferred to North Carolina, who I thought Arizona would recruit. He's averaging 2 points a game at UNC. He was averaging like 20 at Brown. There's players like that, but you can make a case like Jaden Bradley, better off at Arizona. Keshad Johnson, better off at Arizona.
Yeah. They all Caleb Love.
Oumar Ballo. Like, you can go back, Cedric Henderson, Courtney. Like, there's guys that I would say like it's a extremely high hit rate of guys transferring to Arizona and being better off.
All right, Sheer, I would very much like. Sheer was calling people out, and we're going to get to the Oregon game here in a second, trust me. But I wanted to give Sheer some credit. Sheer was calling people out for preconceived notions about Caleb Love yesterday. Sheer, the king of the preconceived Caleb Love notions, has though backed away from it and come to the light. Sheer, you're doing God's work because now you're going at the national media folks that are still dug in on Caleb Love.
Look, I was skeptical about Caleb Love. We've talked about that, but I'm very able right now to admit that Caleb Love obviously has worked out and is really good, right? But you still got people that are, I don't know if Caleb Love is a first-team All-American. I don't. There's some really good guards in the country, but I don't understand why there's a bunch of people saying that RJ Davis is better when Love has similar, better numbers across the board. Like, it's just, it's weird to me. And again, like, a lot of good players, and there's guys that are locks to be All-Americans, but it's just a couple of the things are just it's kind of strange. Like, it's the preconceived notions, like Jeff Goodmans of the world that are like, I hate Caleb Love, and I'm still going to hate Caleb Love.
How much of this? Yeah, that's what it is with. Let's talk about Goodman for a second. I don't think much of Goodman, as many people know. Yeah, coming at me. But Caleb Love, though, dude, it's okay to admit that somebody's different than you thought. And I got to give Doug Gottlieb a lot of credit. Doug Gottlieb came on this show this summer, and he said, listen, man, he said, Caleb Love's going to be a monster under Tommy Lloyd. He said, because Tommy Lloyd, unlike Hubert Davis, knows how to coach offense. And he said, he's not just going to let him stand, at basically at about the 37% line of the court. He said something really weird that I had never heard before. And just stand there and then just go high pick and roll and let everybody focus on him. He's going to get his, in a variety of different ways. And you've seen that. If anything, I'd like to see Caleb Love get to the hoop more because nobody can stay in front of him. And, again, it just goes to show you too, that coaching really, really matters.
And it's a statistical thing too. Like, if you go to Ken Baum, the best player in the Pac-12 this year is Caleb Love. Right? Like, it's not just he's chucking it up and putting up numbers. Like, coaching matters. This system, if you are an offensive player and you don't want to play in Tommy Lloyd's system, you're just dumb. That's it. That's what it comes down to. There is no good offensive player that wouldn't thrive under Tommy Lloyd in this offense.
Yeah, no, and if you can't thrive under Tommy Lloyd in this offense, then you probably aren't very good. Although I will say this, and the great Dennis Walsh made a point, one guy that is playing really well that I'm happy for, and I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't think he'd be, well, Sheer still thinks he sucks, but Adama Ball, Sheer. Adama Ball is on NBA draft boards. We read it and weep, Sheer.
Yeah, Sheer still thinks he sucks. You're right.
Okay. But
have you watched him lately? Have you seen him lately?
No, I haven't watched him, but he's showing up on NBA draft boards, Sheer.
He's been awful like the last 5 games. Awful. I'm not just saying he was great the other night. Bad. Very bad.
Sheer actually rooting against Adama Ball. We hate to see it.
No, I'm a big fan of France.
Okay. Pac-12 champions, Pac-12 1 seed. Are Mike and Jason hedging on W or letting it ride? Oh, dude, I'm back in the A on this one. Here's where I'm at with this. And again, we're going to get to Oregon. if you can't beat UCLA and USC, then it is what it is. USC stinks. I called that from day one. Sheer thought this would be Enfield's best team. Mick Cronin's team. We're gonna make fun of Mick Cronin a lot coming up here, but they kind of stink too. Arizona should be able. I know that it's UC. I know it's LA, and Arizona should win these games. I'm sorry, they should.
Arizona should absolutely win these games. The only thing I wonder about is Mick Cronin's going to build up this game on Thursday to be like UCLA's national championship. Right. And he's done the thing where he craps on his team for a week and eventually they'll respond. And I could see Arizona losing that game, but I don't know. I like the way that Arizona's playing right now. I really do. They should absolutely sweep this week.
All right, now you might say to yourself, where can I go make fun of Mick Cronin if I don't have tickets? Game Time. Thanks for asking. Here's the answer. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed, and the Gila River Resorts and Casinos Skier. I always forget because basically this show is just about me talking to myself and not listening to anybody else. Have you been to the Gila River Resorts and Casinos?
Who hasn't? Who hasn't been?
That's a good point. Check out the Gila River Resorts and Casinos, my friend. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for more details. A fun, authentic, and immersive experience. All right, let's get back to Oregon here for a second. I don't care, and we kept getting this on the post-game show. I do not care that Arizona gave up 53 points to Oregon in the second half because Arizona was always up 20. If it got down to like 7 or 8, cool. But when you're up 20 points, I am totally okay with Arizona giving up 53 points because as long as you keep that to where they're not getting into it, I'm totally fine with that, Sheer. I don't understand that complaint.
I think it is, in a way, it's a good thing because it allows Tommy Lloyd today at practice to point to it, even though, look, if that game was 5 points and Arizona's not hitting and they're still not defending like that, then I'm worried. But it's kind of natural. Like, you're scoring at a ridiculous clip. You're hitting 60% of your shots. It's human nature, right? Like, if they had missed some shots, I bet you they would have locked in on defense. I don't think that impacts anything this week or anything like that. And it's hard in college. You got to remember these guys are still young. Right. When you're scoring 100 points, and you look at the other games too, like Kentucky's scoring 100 points and they're letting up 85 or whatever, but they're scoring 105. So it's like, that's just kind of how it works.
It is what it is. I'm totally cool with that. Although I will say that was wild watching Kuznard in the second half. That
was ridiculous. I mean, that was
an all-time performance in a absolute ass kicking. I mean, every time he got the ball, he was scoring. It was wild, but then it didn't matter because Arizona was going right back and scoring as well. By the way, I like something involved a little bit. You started, Rhino was talking a little about this. I like watching when Pelle and Oumar in the pick and roll is actually sneaky efficient, where Oumar dives, Pelle's got a little bit of the hesitation. I like watching that, Sheer.
I don't know if people have noticed if they've been playing close enough attention, but Arizona's been running Pelle at the point like the last 3 games,
getting him ready for the NBA.
Like, he has absolutely ran the point, and not a lot, but like there's possessions where he'll bring the ball up and he's still in a lineup with other guards, and it's a matchup issue, and he's guarding opposing point guards now. Like, he didn't against Oregon because that's not what the matchup's called for, but he guarded Frankie Collins. There were times where he even guarded like Severe Wheeler against Washington. They're kind of mixing and matching some things.
All right, now we buried the lead here. Kylan freaking Boswell. All right, now there's many people asking this, and I will be very clear about this. We are very much headed towards a my bad Bos movement, but I need more than 2 games. Come on, people. We all deserve more than 2 games. I need him to string some games together. But if he keeps stringing some games together, Sheer, then the my bad Boss movement will be full ahead. But again, I need more than just 2 games. You would even agree with this, Sheer.
Are we, in a way, do we deserve credit for what we've seen the last few games?
Hustle and motivate.
Yeah, like we clearly have motivated Kylan Boswell. Look, 2 really good games, but if he plays like crap on Thursday, no one's going to care.
Right.
So he's got to keep. I don't need 19 points every game. Give me 10 points, 4 assists, some rebounds, low turnovers. I'm cool. I think that's good enough.
Yes, totally good with that. But you know what's weird about Boswell? You know almost instantly if this is going to be a good game or not. If he comes out there and he's got, I don't really care, and it's like we were talking about when he was struggling. Come out and just shoot the ball when you're open, or just take shots. I am more than okay with him taking a couple shots that you're like, maybe that was a little bit rushed. I am totally okay with that, Sheer, because again, Arizona needs him. I have firmly come to the conclusion that if Kylan Boswell plays up to his capabilities, I do believe Arizona has the highest upside in the country.
Yeah, 100%. And you're right. Like, he even said it the other day. He's like, yeah, I knew once I hit the first 2 jumpers, I came out aggressive. Like, you could tell. Like, it's crazy. If he hits his first 2 jumpers, I know he's going to play well. If he misses it, I kind of say to myself, man, it's going to be rough. Right. And he's had, like, in February, his February isn't nearly as bad as we probably made it out to be.
I think the problem is that when he's bad, it's really bad, and he wears it on his face. That's something that I always tell people about basketball that's a little bit different, obviously, is that in football, you can put your helmet on, or you can be the Jason Shear and just ignore people. By the way, you're doing much better job talking with people. I meant to tell you this. I had 2 people message me and say, you always give Shear crap for being a hermit. He was very nice to me. Shear, we like seeing this.
I'm a very nice guy.
No, it's fantastic.
I don't like being aggressively going out and talking to people, but if someone comes up to me, I talk to them.
All right. Well, either way, very good work. We're working on this. Plus, Sheer will be signing autographs at the Pac-12 tournament. I will be the one ushering them in for the Sheer autographs. Anyways, what were we talking about? Kylan Boswell. It just with him, he's certainly capable, and we just need to continue to see him pushing that, because I do believe that Arizona has an even higher upside than UConn. I just said it. If Kylan Boswell is playing the way that Kylan Boswell is capable of, I just said it.
Yeah, I agree with you. When Kylan Boswell is playing like he has been, and Jaden Bradley's playing well, Arizona's guard depth takes it to a completely different level. When they're not playing well, like most college teams, it's going to be really hard for Arizona to win.
Why are we talking about Chip Hale in the comments? Get out of here with all that crap.
Mike won't talk about Chip Hale because he knows that's a big dub for me.
I do not. I'm not throwing in the towel yet, my friend. Not throwing in the towel. Okay, let's make fun of Mick Cronin here for a second, because now we're moving over to UCLA. This dude is such a gas bag, and he gets even gassier every single. It's amazing. Blaming the officials, saying that his players are idiots, saying that his players aren't good enough. I have never seen anything like this in college basketball. I honestly haven't, where never your fault, and why would anybody go and play for this turd? I don't understand it.
Like, I said this the other day, like, Arizona could very well lose to UCLA. It is very possible over but long period of time, teams lose, all that. Like, there's so many examples. The example of him killing Dylan Andrews on the court. That's your best player who made one mistake, and you're about to annihilate him in front of everyone. You go and you lose to Arizona. It was the refs. Against Washington State, he lost. He blamed it on the refs, and then he went back and mentioned the Arizona game again and blamed that one on the refs. And he's like, it must be personal. It might be personal because all you do is MF the refs every time. Yeah, it might be personal. Sean ran into the same issue at Arizona for a little bit.
I've never understood that. By the way, let's see. In Mick's defense, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. His players are not good enough. That's on him. Mick Cronin rode the wave of Steve Alford players, and now chickens are coming home to roost with his own players. This is true, Sheer.
Think about it this way, too. To me, his career at UCLA is going to end up like Ben Howland's did, which is started off really good, made the Final Four, whatever, and then all of a sudden you've burned too many bridges. Yeah. Like, look at his recruiting class. He can't land players in Southern California right now.
Right. We're going to get to that because that's a very good point. Oh, Erica, yes, Sheer is driving. You should join us. All right. But also with we're going to get to that recruiting point because I think that's a very good point. But again, with Cronin, it's just wild to me how this is accepted, how this is I
just don't understand. Like, to me, it's hard to root for too. Even if he was my coach, even if I was a UCLA fan, like, he's a prick. Like, it's really hard to root for.
Well, let's be honest here about something. We know you're a huge Miller guy. By the way, if you take the Ohio State job, I've actually had somebody ask me this. You're not going to Columbus, correct? If Miller takes the Ohio State job, you'll stay in Tucson?
Yeah, we're not going to Ohio.
Okay. But
Promise.
I've never understood coaches that try to antagonize the refs. These are still, and again, I'm mentioning Sean Miller, but he is, let's be honest here, he's a fart in a hurricane compared to Mick Cronin. But you watch Tommy before the games. Tommy goes to up to the officials, like I even saw Tommy slap one on the back a while back. And you could tell Tommy probably doesn't really care, but he's probably asking how the pickleball game is going, if he's with Desert Financial Credit Union. I mean, all kinds of stuff. But I've never understood coaches that don't go into it at least trying to get on the referee's good side. I referee men's basketball leagues. Abraham Mendoza in here is contest. Guess what? I'll be honest with you. If somebody is a total putz to me, game in and game out, if it's a 50-50 call, guess what? You're never getting that call. That is human nature. I don't understand why guys do that. Mick Cronin, keep doing it. You're doing yourself well.
And honestly, it starts to lose its value, right? Like its impact. Like Sean would do it, and he would do it once in a while, right? Like but Cronin is like every time they lose, it's like, well, I got to watch the Cronin presser to see if he blames, and it's never, I didn't get my team ready,
right?
Never has. He just goes, they didn't do this, this, and this. Well, you recruited that dude, and maybe they're blocking you out because you're a prick.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. By the way, I like Carlos saying that UCLA is going to be really good next year because they're going to get all of Washington State's best players. Okay, dude, let me know how that works. Also, BetMGM, the BetMGM Sportsbook app. All right, check it out, Jason Shear. We got all kinds of good stuff on the BetMGM Sportsbook app. I backed the A, and I picked Arizona to win the conference this year. Sign up for BetMGM. Use bonus code PHNX. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app for at least $5. You will receive $150 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for details. Shear, did you pick the U of A to win the conference? Because you actually have a media poll.
Yeah, I did. And remember, we bet on it. There was the bet early in the year. I actually bet on Arizona winning the conference.
You did. You backed the A, and we were very appreciative of that back in the A. Also, time to become a PHNX diehard. All kinds of stuff. Discord chat, cool little stuff on merchandise. You can also listen to More Likely Than Not, where I say things that are more likely than not to happen, but you can't blame me if they don't happen, but I will take full credit if they do. Become a PHNX diehard. All right. Now, I want to talk a little bit about some All-American standings when we'll get back to the game. I do not understand why Caleb Love is not viewed as a first-team All-American by the national media sorts. Sheer, again, I give you a lot of credit for it. I do understand that there's certain players that are total locks. I get it. Zach Edey, total lock, understood. Dalton Knecht, lock, get it. Totally get it. Why is RJ Davis better? Why is RJ Davis more deserving of Caleb Love? His team isn't demonstrably better. His stats aren't better. Why is RJ Davis there? Talk it.
I don't know. You're asking a guy. I don't know why it's. I could see a situation where neither of them are there, right? Like, is if it's a weird situation. There's a lot of good guards like Reeves. You're going to leave Antonio Reeves off the first team. He's averaging 20 points on 50% shooting as a guard. Like, there's a bunch of dudes that you even said, you're like, oh, Kevin McCullough, like he's not going to be on the team. There's a lot of guys. But when you're comparing RJ Davis to Caleb Love, the only thing I could think about is, again, the preconceived notions, because I admit it's close, but like John Rossi said that like RJ Davis is a lock. Well, why? Caleb Love is better numbers. Why is he a lock?
I don't understand that, and there makes no sense. Also, let's talk about some conference awards here. Is Arizona going to get 4 guys on the first team? I know you got 3. For 3 are going to be locks because you got Caleb Love, you got Oumar Ballo, leader of men, and you got Pelle. Is Keyshawn?
I don't know if Pelle's going to be first team.
Well, it is 10 players.
Yeah, it's tough. Like I haven't looked, but it's tough because you got, just off the top of my head, you got Jalen Tyson on Cal. He's in. Miles Rice and Isaac Jones are probably in.
Right.
That's 3. Dante is in. That's 4.
Kuznard might be in just off one game.
Yeah.
KJ Simpson.
KJ Simpson, that's 5. Someone on Utah, Carlson, probably, that's 6.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It's tough.
Yeah, no, it is going to be tough. But Oumar Ballo, leader of men, and Caleb Love should be locks. And
Yes, those are
honestly,
locks.
and Caleb Love, there is no other case to be made. There is no other case to be made for anybody else but Caleb Love at this point. This is Caleb Love's award. Period.
Yes.
Point blank. And you have a vote on this, do you not, Sheer?
I don't think I have a vote. I think that's a coach's thing.
What are we doing here?
I think the coaches vote for the postseason awards. No,
right.
I think I vote for the teams, but the coaches vote for the awards. I don't know.
All right. Well, we need to get
My award, Caleb Love is a lock. If I was voting for coach, Kyle Smith is a lock. Freshman of the year is Miles Rice. That's a lock.
By the way, Clint Moses coming in here. Clint Moses, the great Clint Moses.
I'll
Caleb Love's assist to turnover ratio is actually almost 2-1. And if you look at Caleb Love's last 4 games, Sheer, he's averaging like 6 assists a game.
He doesn't turn the ball over. He's got his assist to turnover ratio.
It's like 3.9 to 1.9 or something, or 3.9 to
He's averaging 3.5 assists and 2 turnovers a game. 1.5. That's good.
Take that every single day of the week. Yeah. And his assist numbers are going
best of his career, by the way, by far. Best of his career by far.
And let me see. I also do believe that this is also his. What are his percentages at now? About 44% from the field.
I'm just looking, by the way, his last 5 games. 7. Let's see, 5, 10, 15.
I told you, in a lot of rebounds.
17. He has got 24 assists to 8 turnovers in his last 5 games.
And look at his rebounds in there as well. He's got quite a few rebounds. The dude's doing it all.
25 rebounds in 5 games. That's pretty damn good. What did you ask me?
I'm going to be honest.
His 2-point percentage is the highest of his career by 6%. His 3-point percentage is the highest of his career, barely, but highest. Free throws, highest. Rebounds, highest. Assists, tied for highest. Steals, highest. Turnovers, least. Fouls, least.
I mean, dude, he's having an awesome season.
Man, big dub for us.
I don't understand, again, why is there, listen, I understand Caleb Love's probably going to go off to the NBA, or at least try to, because his stock's never going to be higher. I get that. But why, and, Pelle, he's on some charts. I get it. But why wouldn't Oumar Ballo, leader of men, come back? He's probably going to get paid more. He gets to enjoy the college life. He can hang out at that Jamaican restaurant on Fort Lowell that I see him at. I've seen him at 3 different times now. Why wouldn't he come back? I mean, what am I missing here? And don't give me the whole thing where, well, sometimes it's just time to move on. Why?
That's it. That's the argument, Mike. Sometimes it's just time, man. You just time to move on. I don't know. Sometimes it's just time. We don't know what Oumar wants to do. Maybe he's very active when he goes to Africa and helping with that stuff. Maybe he wants to go play and help and all that. We don't know.
How much do you think we could get Oumar for NIL if he came back for one more year to lead his men?
I'll make it my personal mission to get him as much as possible.
Oh, the poll came out. Arizona's at 5th, and Bruce actually has us at 5, by the way. By the way, did you see that picture that I got of Bruce and Michael Lev going under the tunnel, and it was like Washington and Lincoln meeting for their last...
it was one of the most remarkable things I've ever... I almost framed it.
It was iconic. I mean, it was really, really iconic. Erica, you are going to go to Vegas, though. This has already been decided. Also, all right. So let's get back to a little bit of a conference talk. Also,
I just got the schedule for the Final Four. I'm looking at all the stuff they're going to do. Secret schedule for me.
Nice.
They're putting up a 3D bracket in the middle of the street.
Right. By the way, this is Brad Rich. This is mean. Look what he just said about Bruce.
What? We don't get him out of here.
Brad, get out of here now.
Look, Mike and I will literally fight people for Bruce.
Dude, I can't wait to bother Bruce in Las Vegas, dude, for 4 days of just harassing Bruce. Oh, I can't wait. I'm very, very
Are you going to Salt Lake?
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah.
Oh, man, Bruce, we're going to go out. We're going to get...
You didn't go to the tournament last year where Ben and I were on the ground. You were not. Oh, no, you did.
Yes, I did.
You did, because remember I came into the hotel and I kept blasting farts at you. That's true.
Well, I also never mind. I was gonna say
that is true, though, is it not?
At Ben, it was disgusting.
Well, no. So basically, what happened is, and we'll get back to this in a second, is that Shear's laying there, and Shear's got this weird breathing contraption that he puts on his face. It looks like something Hannibal Lecter.
CPAP machine.
Yeah, it looks really weird. But So I go in there and I'm like, all right, man, I'm going to give you some real air. And so Ben comes in and Ben is sitting down probably like 3 feet from me, max. And dude, I just started blasting farts Ben's way. And Ben was a trooper and Ben took it. I mean, I didn't know
Ben
what else.
didn't say one word until finally I was like, Mike, like you got to stop. And Ben just sits there.
Yeah, no, it's
That was a hood hotel we were staying at.
Dude, that was tough. That was tough for sure.
I was in the streets.
Yes, for sure. All right,
not in Salt Lake. Only the best.
Real quick, Tommy Lloyd. A lot of people question Tommy Lloyd's recruiting when he came in here initially, and he's obviously silenced all those doubters. You've got multiple 5-star kids coming in. UCLA can't recruit LA anymore. Sheer quickly, who should Arizona be looking at when it comes to some latest names?
I mean, Arizona's really focused in on wing recruiting. I don't think that's going to change. Guys like Will Riley just finished his official visit this past weekend. Really, really good. Hudson Greer. Tunde is probably a very heavy Arizona lean. I would actually go as far to say as I expect him to be a member of this class. Braden Burries, Arizona's right there. I wouldn't expect many new names to pop up in this class. The only one I could possibly think of is this past weekend. Point guard JJ Mandequit was on campus. He's a guy where if Kylan leaves, they need a point guard in 2025 or some other things fall through that maybe they move on him, but they haven't moved on him. I think part of that with Mandequit is if they offer him, I think there's a really good chance he commits pretty quickly. So they're probably taking their time a little bit with that one.
All right, yeah. So they're there. That's what we got. Brad Rich. I believe Arizona gets Braden Burries. Let's talk about Tunde a little bit. Tunde to me is fascinating because I'm not as big on him as some people are. To me, he's kind of a poor man's Stanley Johnson. I've seen him a couple times.
He's weird as a prospect. Like he's a 6. You know what? He's almost like a significantly more athletic Jose Perez. And what I mean by that is like he's a 6'5" 4-man.
Right.
And he can probably guard threes, but he's a mismatch nightmare on offense. Like he's had a very good high school season as well, but he's weird until like how he fits in a rotation. But he's good. Like I get it.
Yeah. Oh, no, Shear has not been big on Burries. That's true. That is not true.
I liked Burries. You always get things confused because I like evaluating
a lot more than you did.
You like Burries before you even saw him play for the first time.
Yeah, but I was right.
You're like, for Burries. I go, have you seen him play? No.
I watched a highlight and you just kept talking about how he had a weird
I'm curious, by the way, because you always give me crap about it. How many minutes would Cody Williams get per game on Arizona?
How many minutes would a first-round pick get at the U of A?
Yeah, this season, how many minutes do you think Cody Williams would get at Arizona?
20 plus. I mean, that's kind of the going rate for a first rounder, is it not?
I'm just wondering where you think the minutes would come from.
All right. Now, everybody keeps asking. I am right. You did not. You had not. Brad Rich. By the way, the great Brad Rich. Haha. Mike was big on him, but hadn't seen him. No, that is not true, Brad Rich. I had seen highlights of him.
I've always liked Burries. I wrote about Burries a year before that event, saying Arizona should offer him.
No, but then you totally cheer. You don't get to be big on somebody then back out. I was big on Boswell and then I backed out, and now I'm probably gonna have to start a My Bad Bos movement. You don't get to back out and then say that you were still on him.
I would love to see if you were like a college coach, like how you would recruit. You'd be that guy that offers like 400 players.
I'd offer 400 players, then I'd find out if they were like jerks and whatnot.
Yeah, you would absolutely be that guy.
Yes, I would 1000% be that guy. Also, we're going to get into a little bit of a pet peeve that I've got going on here in a second. Gilbert Arenas' kid. Here's the deal with Gilbert Arenas' kid. I got a pretty good connection on this one. I can speak to this a little bit. Gilbert Arenas' kid is, listen, everybody'd like him to go to Arizona. He could go to Arizona, but that is going to be a national recruitment of the highest order where money will, even though Gilbert has a lot of money, he will, they're definitely going to be listening to the money offers. He could also do something too weird like Brandon Jennings where he goes overseas or something, or G League, whatever. This is going to be a totally, this is going to be a bonkers recruitment, Sheer.
Arenas is weird to begin with because like Gilbert never put him in a good high school for basketball. Like he's playing against scrubs, basically. Right. It's nothing would surprise me with that recruitment. Like
this dude could end up at Kentucky, USC, G League Ignite, Arizona, or playing for some Italian village, and it would not surprise me.
Yeah, I just and I do think Arizona's in there. You know, Murph is recruiting him. Obviously, Murph knows Gil and all that, but it's going to be a weird one.
It's going to be a weird one. Saddle up, partner, to quote Lloyd Christmas. All right, now I got to be careful here. So I give full credit to what Caitlin Clark has been able to do on the Arizona or on the women's basketball.
Be careful here, Mike. Just be careful. We agree. Be careful.
She is absolutely fantastic. I watch her play, and to me, she's different than all of the other players that have been hyped. The Ionescu's. Ionescu plays like another one of the players out there. Caitlin Clark looks totally different. But can we please stop comparing the men's and the women's game? Because I think it diminishes both. These are totally different aspects. I get that ESPN is trying to push it, but we don't talk about, we don't talk about this like who's the greatest UFC fighter ever, and then name John Jones and the best women's fighter. The women's and the men's game is just totally different from a physicality, from a verticality, from a style of play. It's just totally different. So with this debate about Pete Maravich and Caitlin Clark, there is no comparison between it because they're not the same thing. These are apples and oranges. I don't understand. Well, I understand why ESPN is pushing it, but can we please stop with this?
It's just, and it's ignoring reality. Like there was no 3-point line when Pete Maravich did it. He did it in 3 years, and it's a different game. It was a different game back then. Like it's with the men's game when you're comparing men to men. Like and she's great, but like the combination. We don't do it when a man breaks a record, right? Like we don't like when LeBron scored 30 points in a game or whatever. We don't say, well, that's the most in NBA and WNBA history. Like it's just right. And she's great. Like she's awesome. I love watching her. I don't mind good women's basketball. I went to women's basketball the other day. It's a weird situation to me. You're comparing completely different sports, level of play, all that.
Like nobody goes in there and compare. And again, it just kind of looks differently. And again, this isn't a slight because Caitlin Clark is fantastic. But I'll just give you an idea. Like if I watch, say, women's golf or women's tennis, it looks like the man's game. It's not the same, but it looks like when you watch women's basketball, it's just different. They move differently. They don't have the verticality. They don't have the explosion. They're very skilled. And, that is absolutely a testament. But it's like what Shaq says. He's like, well, if you want more people to watch, bring the rim down to 8 feet. That's not true either, because when people like about the slam dunk, is not the dunk itself. It's how far you're getting off the ground, the acrobatics involved. Nobody is going to care more if you're not getting off the ground and you're getting a dunk on an 8-foot rim. Again, it's just different. And that's not to diminish what she's doing, but it's the only sport that they keep trying to push this in, and it's getting very annoying.
Yeah, it's just weird. It really is, because and I get why ESPN's doing it. I completely understand it. It's not like offensive or anything like that. But I don't like when anyone like compares, narratives. And T Burns says it great right there. Like, we don't compare McDonald to Sean Elliott when they play for national. Like we just don't do it. Like when there's when someone hits a home run, we don't say that's the longest home run in baseball and softball history. Like it's different, which is fine. It's fine.
And Ryan Neal, well, if we want to do this, then that's not necessarily true because she doesn't have the most NCAA points of all time, men or women. Well, if you want to do that, then why not bring Division II in? Why not bring Division III in? And they are comparing them because how many times were they talking about during that 3-point shootout with Steph Curry and Ionescu? Well, who's the best shooter in professional basketball? It's Steph Curry, and that's okay. Again, the women's game has made huge leaps, but again, it's just not the same thing. And I wish it's the only sport where they keep trying to push this in. And I don't, again, it's just, to me, it's annoying. Just let both of them, they can both be great. And that's just kind of where I'm at with this. I would just like this to stop because it's the only sport that they're doing this in. And I understand why ESPN is trying to push this narrative, but let's please stop. That is all I ask. They are both great. They are just playing in a different competitive type sport. Boom. All right. Now I got that off my chest. So now let's talk about some Arizona football. No, this whole discussion does not come off as hating women's basketball. It comes off as saying that they're different. Most people can understand this. They are different. And no, it's not unnecessary to talk about. It is. We are going to talk about it. Most people.
I just went to women's basketball. I don't know if Erica's still in here. We talk about women's basketball all the time. I don't kill the sport.
Right. It's again, they're very, very good. And well, everybody, I don't know that, but all right. Well, either way. All right. By the way, the dog is the absolute so you keep bringing it up as irrelevant. Okay, whatever. All right. Let's talk a little bit of Arizona football, Jason Shearer. Arizona killed it at the combine. We are going to have players drafted this year. We are going to have multiple players drafted this year. Here's also what I'm bringing up with about, here's also something that I'm finding out. Enough time has passed with Jedd Fisch as this. And I was getting into this with somebody on Twitter the other day. Jedd Fisch, in hindsight, is 1,000. He was an A+ hire. He's a turd. The way he left was a jerk. All of this stuff his agent doing. But listen, I mean, we're going to have players drafted. We're also going to have a next year where you could have multiple first-round picks. It's going to be exciting to actually watch the NFL draft and not hope that somebody can sneak in as a 7th-round pick, Sheer.
It's just cool watching the combine and knowing that Arizona players are going to get drafted for once.
Right.
Like Jordan Morgan, I don't know if he's going to go first, but if he doesn't, he'll go second. Jacob Cowing was awesome. Tanner McLaughlin was awesome. Next year, there's going to be a bunch of dudes. It's just fun watching the NFL combine and being able to actually see an Arizona player. It feels like it's been forever, especially multiple players.
All right, now I got a question. Why is talking about the combine then? Jacob Cowing, to me, he's a little fascinating because he was very, very, very productive at Arizona. You look at his stats. I mean, duh. And he ran a 4.38. I could have told you he was 5'8". It always cracks me up that it always cracks me up when stats lie for like 4 inches as opposed to like, maybe like 1 or something like that. But I don't understand, why can't he be Zay Flowers? I mean, Zay Flowers is the same size, productive, ran almost the same time, slightly faster. I get it. But why can't he be Zay Flowers? Boom.
He's definitely, I will say this, Cowing's, he can be Zay Flowers. I mean, I was going to say Cowing needs to put on weight, but I think Zay weighs like the same thing, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, they're both like little, they're both little humans, but they're both very, very good though at the same time.
Yeah, I don't see why not. You just, yeah, we agree. No, we agree.
All right, we're going to get to just a second here because there are some good questions coming in. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Oh, the AZ lottery. Oh, yeah, and we're going to get to Michael Wiley. Sheer, when was the last time you won the AZ lottery? Not did you win, but when was the last time?
A few days ago. I won.
Listen, be like Sheer. All right, the Arizona Lottery is not just about playing games and winning prizes. It's also about giving back to the state and the community, like Jason Sheer. Visit azadventures.com for more information on how you can take an adventure for a chance to win $1 million in cash and Arizona travel prizes and some burros. Sheer, when we go up to Vegas, maybe we should go through some burros. What do you say?
Absolutely.
All right,
we should definitely. Let's talk about Jacob Franklin's house and say hi too.
Dude, Jacob Franklin is currently not in this chat, and I am very upset at Jacob Franklin. All right. Now, go to some burros. 20% off your order up to $100 when you use code PHNX at checkout for the whole month of March. Available in restaurant drive-thru. When you order online, not available on third-party delivery. Visit someburros.com. All right, let's see. Did I get everything? Oh, I didn't get Phoenix Raceway. Oh, we'll get Phoenix Raceway, and then we're going to get right back to this. Now, Phoenix Raceway. Sheer, you got a bunch of munchkins running around the house. I actually think they like Phoenix Raceway.
They would. They would.
All right. So here's what Shear's going to do. He's going to get his tickets to the Shriners Children's 500 at Phoenix Raceway, March 8th to 10th. Promises a weekend of good vibes for the whole family. Get your reserved grandstand tickets now at phoenixraceway.com. The Valley of the Sun will roar to life this spring when NASCAR returns to Phoenix Raceway, March 8th to 10th. All right. Let's see here. We're actually Sheer doesn't know this because we're not actually. I have to take tomorrow. I'm taking off instead of Wednesday. I got to drive up to Phoenix for the all staff meeting. But let's see. Oh, Wednesday we have AJ Bramlett. Sorry, Sheer. But Sheer's going to be doing post games with us.
Yeah.
So both post games this week. We have Sheer confirmed. I'm not just going to spring it on him. Michael Wiley. I am not surprised at all that Michael Wiley ran a 4.5. As a matter of fact, that's what I thought he would run. But I think what I'm fascinated by with this is, obviously he broke his hand, so he wasn't able to pass catch. His whole thing to me is just getting into camp on the right team and being able to show, who he is. Listen, he's not going to be a feature back. I get all of that, but I do believe he can play in the NBA. I do believe he can play
in the NBA too. Why not? He can do anything.
He can play in every sport, man. I mean, seriously, come on.
Yeah, I agree. Like, he's not going to be an every down 1,000-yard back, but we know that. You go to the right team, be a third down pack, be a situational back, and he could have a nice career. Like, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he makes an NFL roster. It really wouldn't. I don't like the fact that he needs thumb surgery. That sucks. That's going to hit his sock, obviously, but he's also.
But he's also somebody that I could see going in this, 6th, 7th round, or you almost hope at that point that you're almost kind of a UFA. All right. Let's see. Are we still feeling the Nebraska 8-9 matchup here?
I am totally convinced that Arizona is going to face the winner of Gonzaga, Nebraska.
You're going
to give Arizona Gonzaga as a freaking 8 seed.
I watched Gonzaga against St. Mary's.
They look good, man. They've been playing well lately.
They have been playing good. And the guy they got, the Graham Ike or Ike or Graham Ike, whatever his name is. By the way, sometimes things come the way that you shouldn't exactly think they're going to happen, because Arizona, instead of getting Nemhard, got Jaden Bradley. Sheer was wrong on him, and Caleb Love. Sheer was wrong on him as well. Sheer, he batted 0 for 2 on that.
Yeah, and Nemhard's been fine for Gonzaga. He's playing really well lately.
Yeah, I'll still take what we got.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Sheer, before we sign off, where can they find you doing all your work, all of your magic behind the scenes?
WildcatAuthority.com, at Jason Sheer on Twitter, and the Wildcat Scoop podcast with Shelby.
All right, everybody out there, very much appreciate all of you. I'm going to have a short coming up here in a little bit making fun of Mick Cronin because he very much deserves it, as does Carlos. But on that note, for Jason Sheer, I am merely Mike Luke. All of you out there, you guys are absolutely fantastic. You have been listening to the AZ Wildcats podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.